The first time I spoke to my neighbor, Claire, was on a Tuesday morning when I was heading out for work, half asleep, coffee in one hand and toolbox in the other. She waved from her porch like she'd been waiting for me. "Daniel," she called, "do you have a minute?" I stopped. No one ever asked me for anything around this neighborhood except directions or the occasional borrowed ladder, but she looked different, nervous, hopeful, almost shy. Her gate hung crooked, barely attached to one hinge. It looked like a strong breeze could knock it down. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "I was wondering if you could help me fix this. It broke last night and I nearly fell trying to close it." I walked over, inspecting the damage. "Yeah, it's fixable." She let out a breath. "Thank God." Then she looked at me with a small smile. Warm, grateful, almost too sweet for a neighbor who barely knew me. "You always seem handy with tools," she said softly, "and I trust you." That caught me off guard. People don't usually say things like that to men who live alone, keep to themselves, and don't talk much. But she had a way of saying things that made you feel seen. "I can fix it today," I said. Her smile brightened. Really, that would mean everything to me. She stood there on her porch barefoot, wearing an oversized sweatshirt and shorts, sunlight in her hair. I tried not to stare, but she made it difficult. I started working. She didn't go inside. She stayed near me, leaning against the fence, asking questions about tools, laughing nervously whenever she didn't understand. "You know," she said at one point, "I used to think I could fix anything myself. Turns out I can barely screw a light bulb." I chuckled. "It's okay. Not everyone's meant for power tools." "Oh, trust me," she said with a playful grin. "I'm not meant for anything dangerous, except maybe myself." The gate needed more repairs than I expected. One hinge was rusted through, and the wooden frame had rotted on one side. I worked for nearly an hour. She watched the entire time like she was afraid I'd disappear. When I finally fixed it, the gate swung perfectly. No squeaking, no shaking, no risk of collapsing. She gasped, It actually works." "It's just a gate," I said. "It's not just a gate to me." Her voice softened, almost breaking. "Thank you." She stepped closer, not too close, but close enough to notice the faint smell of vanilla perfume on her skin. Her eyes were warmer than the sunlight. "You deserve a little extra reward," she whispered. I froze. Her voice wasn't playful like before. It wasn't teasing. It was something else, something that made my chest tighten. "Reward?" I asked, trying to keep it light. Her fingers brushed my forearm gently, like she was testing how I'd react. "For helping me, for being the kind of man who doesn't say no." There was something unspoken in her eyes. Loneliness, gratitude, maybe something deeper. I cleared my throat. "Claire, you don't need to give me anything." She shook her head. "No, I want to." She walked to her door and looked back at me. "Come inside for a minute." That sentence shouldn't have meant anything, but her tone, her expression, the way her voice dipped low. It felt like an invitation to something more than coffee. I hesitated, but she waited patiently, almost hopefully. I followed her inside. Her house smelled like cinnamon and fresh laundry. Soft music played somewhere in the background. She picked up a small box from the kitchen counter and walked back to me. "Here," she said, "this is for you." I opened it. Inside was a brand new set of precision screwdrivers, expensive ones, the kind professionals use. "Claire, these cost too much." She stepped closer again, so close I could feel her breath on my collarbone. "You fixed my gate," she whispered. "You kept me safe, that's not too much." Something tightened in my chest. She wasn't flirting. She was vulnerable. She was lonely. And maybe, just maybe, I reminded her of something she missed. I set the box on the counter. "Claire, what's going on?" Her smile faltered. She bit her bottom lip, eyes shining in a way that looked like she was holding something back. My ex promised he'd fix that gate for 3 years, she said quietly. He never did. He never cared about anything I needed. Her voice broke. And then he left. I understood. This wasn't about a reward. This was about someone finally showing up for her. Someone finally listening. Someone finally doing what they said they would. She leaned her head against my chest, slow and uncertain, like she expected me to push her away. But I didn't. She whispered, when you fixed that gate, it felt like someone cared again, just for a second. I rested a hand on the small of her back because she was trembling now. Claire, you don't owe me anything. She looked up at me with teary eyes. But I want to give you something, not because I have to, because you deserve it. Her fingers slid around my arm slowly, gently, asking silently instead of speaking. Can I? She whispered. I didn't answer with words. I just nodded. She exhaled shakily and stepped closer until there was no space left between us. The air changed. The room felt warmer. Her heartbeat pressed against my chest, and for the first time since I met her, the teasing smile disappeared. This was real, raw, human, unfiltered. We stayed like that for a long moment, just breathing, just feeling the weight of everything neither of us said. Finally, she whispered against my shirt. Stay just for a while. I stayed. We talked for hours, about her past, about my life, about the loneliness that crept into houses when no one was looking. She told me she hadn't had anyone she trusted in years. I told her I wasn't better, I was just quieter about it. Her head rested on my shoulder. My hand held hers gently. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. Just two people filling the empty spaces inside each other. When the sky outside turned orange, she whispered softly, Daniel, thank you for fixing more than just my gate. I swallowed hard. What did I fix? She smiled, a real one, soft and healing. Me. And that was the moment I realized something. Her reward wasn't the screwdrivers. It wasn't an invitation. It wasn't anything physical. Her reward was letting me in. Trusting me. Opening her heart just enough for something new to begin. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Home.